Hi, guys. Okay, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Monday. What's going on? All right, my name is Jennifer Luddington. For those of you who do not know me, I am a high performance mindset coach and I help you live into your value centered life and also become the generator of your own life, right? To generate those values and live into them. So, today, what we're talking about is kind of exciting. And this concept came up the other day when I was with a girlfriend of mine, and it's like that value domino. So, so let me explain something to you guys. I'm gonna share with you a little experience I've had recently. I'm gonna share with you the principle, how to do it, how to turn that domino, how to discover what domino you need to flip in order to really live into your values, so that you can create that domino effect, right? So interesting thing happened to me recently. I haven't shared this. This is something I have not shared, and I don't know why I've been holding it back, but it was my domino. And when I finally figured out the domino that needed to be tipped, right, or flicked over, it all of a sudden just kind of nicely tipped over all the others, and everything kind of came into a little bit better alignment. And so last year I was turning 40 last year, last December, and I was feeling just a little bit disconnected, right? Just a little off. There's something not right, right? And what I learned is that something that was a normal habit that I had acquired that I didn't think too much of was actually the thing that needed to be tipped over. Let me explain. So I really set myself up for failure here because I became habitual in drinking wine. Habitual in drinking wine. You know, wine is never, like, alcohol's never been a problem for me in my life. I could take it or leave it, honestly. But there was a time over the past year, a year before December, where it became habitual, right? And it was something that when I realized, right, that me drinking wine every night was, instead of becoming like, oh, this is just something to celebrate, or this, is it a special occasion, it became habitual, right? It became habitual. And that habit wasn't serving me at all because it didn't align with my values. Now, I'm not saying that alcohol doesn't align with your values. I'm not judging at all. But what I am saying is that it wasn't aligning with my values. You guys that know me, I've been in the fitness and health industry for a long time as well. And living a life where I was drinking wine every night was not really living into my values of being a healthy person. Right? That wasn't living into that. And what was happening is, when I was drinking wine, I wasn't only not only serving my body, but I was disconnecting. Right? It was a disconnect for me. The alcohol was actually allowing me to disconnect. And one of my true values and my true north is connection, and intimate connection with people, deep, meaningful connection with people. So if I'm disconnected, I'm certainly not living into my values if I'm drinking wine every night. Right? And it was interesting because it happened slowly. Like, I didn't realize it was becoming, every single night I was drinking wine, and then it just started to happen. And it wasn't making me feel good. I wasn't waking up as bright. I wasn't waking up as focused. I wasn't connected to my husband as much. I wasn't connected to my kids. And another thing that happened to me was I was honestly not eating well all the time, because sometimes when I was drinking that wine, instead of like eating enough protein, I was kind of picking. And I wasn't getting the nutrients that were important to me to actually function on all cylinders. And when I started to realize that was my value domino, because when I tipped that domino over and I started becoming into that habit of not in alignment, all the other things tipped in the wrong direction. So by tipping that habit that wasn't serving me over, that domino over that wasn't serving me, right, it also tipped over all these other areas of my life that weren't serving me. And that's why I was feeling so completely off, right, disconnected. Has that ever happened to you guys? Where it's like you don't realize it, but that one thing is actually a domino effect. Now, the beautiful thing about this, you guys, is that you can have a value domino in the other direction, and the direction that it is serving you. When you tip over one thing, it can actually serve you and support you, versus what I was doing, right? Which I tipped over that domino and it was not serving me in the other direction. So I think what I'd like to share with you guys today is, where's your domino? Like, what is your value domino? Are you in this position right now where you're like, wow, there is something. There is that one thing that I've tipped over already, and it's taken me down a path, and all the things that come after it are not serving my values. And that's why maybe I'm feeling disconnected or misaligned or frustrated or overwhelmed, right? Because that one domino that you tipped, maybe you didn't know it or maybe you did know it, took you in the wrong direction. And all the dominoes that flipped over after that were ones that were not supporting you. And then it feels like you can't stop them, right? It just starts to trickle. Well, you can. And creating a new value habit, creating a new domino to tip over in the other direction, does it can happen. You just have to identify it. So what I want to share with you guys is identify something. Maybe if you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling out of alignment, if you're feeling discontent, or you're feeling disconnected, is there a value domino that you've tipped over in the wrong direction? And if there is, how can you regain alignment into your values? How can you? Right, well, the first thing you need to do is figure out what they are. If you haven't done that, I do have a value finder free download that you can do. It will take you 5 minutes and it's really, really insightful. So aligning yourself with your true intrinsic values, not external, is the first step. And then discovering what that one domino is and what it could be in order to push the dominoes in the direction that serves you instead of in the one that doesn't. So for me, right, the domino that wasn't serving me, I just identified for you guys, was drinking wine. It became habitual. And that domino effect took me down a road that took me completely out of alignment with who I am and how I want to show up, right? So the thing that does put me, right, the one domino that I can turn over every day that puts me in that space of connection, of authenticity, of health, right, all those things for me is, honestly, it's my morning routine. And my morning routine consists of all things that serve my values, or the things that are important to me, right? And so when I flip that domino in the morning, it sets my day up to be in complete alignment with all the things that matter to me. It's the positive domino, the positive values, right? Living in alignment with who I really am. And when I do that first thing in the morning, it sets me up for that positive domino effect versus going down a path that doesn't serve me. And when you start to habit stack, and I've used this term a lot, and when you actually set yourself up in the morning with your values, you actually live into them with actions, habits, and behaviors, right? It does create that domino effect in the correct direction. And what's really powerful about setting yourself up first thing in the morning is the habit stack, good or bad habit stack. So there's science that have been shown that if you value health, if you value, living longevity, if you value freedom and movement, and you do a morning workout, right, those habits stack, and it's really hard to go eat like French fries after you have a workout because you feel better and you want to nourish yourself, and that habit stacks on top of others. You also want to drink more water, right? You feel thirstier. That's a habit that stacks, right? Whereas if you lay in bed until 10 a.m. and you don't have any energy because you're tired and you're not living into any values or you haven't identified them, it's going to set you up with a domino in a different way, right? And maybe a way that you don't feel connected to and that won't serve you or those around you. So that's the principle I wanted to teach today is number one, identify the domino that might not be serving you, and then how you can see that trickle down into an effect that you might not like any longer. And then what's the domino that you can turn now that is going to serve your values, that is going to serve your connection, that is going to serve your authentic self? What is that domino you can flip over? Everyone's different. Mine is my morning routine, and I set myself up where during my morning routine, I have actions and behaviors that actually align with my values, right? And it starts with, a morning meditation. It's like a reflection. Sometimes it's a journal, but it's something that I can connect to myself. And then it's movement, right? So, and I think that that's really important. And on mornings when my husband is home, we actually do our own connection where we have our journal or our meditation. And then we'll actually have coffee in bed and connect to each other and have deep, meaningful conversation in the morning about what we want to accomplish, what's important to us, what we want to show up, how we want to show up for our family, how we want to show up for each other. And then we'll both go on and do some movement. That's what happened this morning, right? Got up, did my morning meditation for myself, got coffee in bed with my husband, connected to my husband, and we went to the gym together. And I know that's not always feasible for everybody, but what I'm saying is that right now, he's home, it's feasible for us, so we do it. When he's gone, I won't be able to connect to him that way, but I will call him, right? I will connect with him on the phone because I value that deep, intimate connection. I value my health, right? I value introspection and self-actualization. and personal growth and development. And doing that, I have to quiet my mind. So what is it that you value? If you don't know, and maybe you feel like you haven't really thought about it and that you want to, I'll pop a link here so that you can download my free PDF, which is my values to vision finder, right? Which will help you connect to your intrinsic values versus external. Because when we live into those external values, that's where frustration, that's where overwhelm, that's where anxiety lives. And it's hard to use discernment sometimes between the two, external and internal. And so what I've created is something for you to get connected to your intrinsic values. Make sense? All right, you guys, on Instagram, if you want that free PDF, let me know. Send me a DM and I'll shoot it over to you, the link. And then on Facebook, I'll go ahead and place it here in the comments. And if you guys want, this is something really interesting. Pop a comment here about something that maybe you think is not serving you. Maybe there's a domino right now that you think is not serving you, or you feel like is not serving you. Pop it here. I'll walk you through it. And maybe something you can do that is serving you that you can do more of and create a habit and a behavior and taking action towards flipping that domino over. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. And if this video was of value to you, I ask you to share it if you like it, if it was really important to you, that'd be great. And honestly, on Wednesday, I was going to talk about this today, but Wednesday, I'm going to talk about your family values. And I think this is a really important thing to talk about with what's happening on the planet, the uncertainty and the disconnect that's really going on with our planet right now. And on Sunday we had a really connected family dinner. We talked about our values. I did it with my husband, and I have a really great formula for that. And if you're a parent or you're a spouse and you really want to do that, you want to be a leader in your home, about how to create that kind of value-centered home life so your kids can be very centered and know what's happening and know what to expect and feel safe. I think that's a really good way to do it. So I'm going to share how to do that on Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. I usually go live at this time every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we're going to be talking about that. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that and see you here on Wednesday as well. All right, guys. So again, Instagram, if you want that link, I'll shoot it over to you. Just message me and I'll pop it here on Facebook for you guys. All right. Okay. Have a great Monday and have a great week. Hope to see you on Wednesday.